So, common art scams. Now, I don't want this video to deter you in any way from taking pet portrait commissions, but I did just want to talk about the current scams that are out there and how to be safe from them and how to not be scammed by the scams. So the first one that I see a lot, that I personally get a lot, like probably daily, is like the DM scam. So when someone on Instagram or TikTok messages you privately saying, I want a portrait of my brother's dog or something like that. It's normally the same words that they always use. I would like to commission a portrait of my son's dog. I think that's been the current recent scam that's going around. And the reason why you would know it's a scam is because, one, the image looks weird. Their profile picture is like, I don't know, blurry or doesn't quite look right. And if you click on their profile, they have like no followers, no posts. It's like a weird spam account, if you get what I mean. So that's one thing to look out for. Another thing is that, so say you didn't realize it was a scam, the question you would ask next is, I would love to see a picture. So you ask them for pictures. I also ask, what country are you in? So I can send you prices in your currency. And I find that to be really helpful. And a lot of these spam things generally don't answer my questions like that. So asking it questions, pretending that it's, could be a potential client, but asking it those specific questions of like, what country are you from? I'd like to see a picture. What's the pet's name? I've asked what's the pet's name and they either haven't responded or they've been like, I don't know, and just like weird things that doesn't sound like it's a real commission. So it's important to ask questions, but you will realize the difference between a real human speaking to you and someone just trying to scam you. It comes with experience. So that's one thing to look at, is these DMs. So when someone messages you and they say something that's very standard, that's very common, that you see all the time, sometimes it is a weird thing of my son's dog. It's like, okay, what about your dog? Why isn't your son contacting me? Like, obviously sometimes people do gifts, but there is a difference. It feels different when it's a scammer versus an actual person trying to commission you. Another thing would be when they email you, or say you get further down the scam, further down into the conversation, and then it comes to payment. So this has happened to me a few times where I haven't realized it's someone trying to scam me, because they're a normal person. They are talking to me. They're pretending that they're interested in getting commission, and then it comes to payment and they're like, I don't have PayPal, I don't have a credit card or a card, I want to send you a check or an e-check or use some sort of transfer payment system. And if it's anything out of the norm of what you find safe, as in a safe payment method, then I'd say no. Always no. Even if they're not trying to scam you, that just legit don't have PayPal and those kinds of things, then fine. But I personally would never go with someone who aren't able to pay me through PayPal, because PayPal doesn't even need you to sign in or anything. It's just a transaction website. You can send them an invoice, you can send them a a payment request, and it just requires them to put in their card details. So if they have a bank account and they have a bank card, they should be able to use PayPal whether or not they have an account. That's okay. If they specifically don't want to use PayPal, I feel like that's a red flag. That's always a red flag to me. If they're saying, I want to send you a check in the post, major red flag. If they're saying something like an e-check or anything that sounds weird, another red flag. If they're talking about another transfer money website that you necessarily haven't heard of before, I'd say that's another red flag. And the way these scams work is that they probably pretend to send you the money. You get a notification saying that they've sent you the money. You send them the artwork and then they cancel it, so you don't actually get the money in your account. Or things like they ask you for your PayPal. So another thing, they ask you for your PayPal details. So never ever give your PayPal details. So I've had another scammer ask me, can I have your PayPal email address? And you might get a notification of a code. Let me know what that code is so I can send you the money. Major red flags. Never ever give out your PayPal email, and never ever give out any sort of codes. If anybody asks you for codes, that means that they're trying to probably change your password. They're trying to log in as you to change your password to take over your PayPal. That's what they're trying to do. So never ever give codes, and never give your email address, your PayPal account login information. Always ask them for their email address. If they want it the other way around, they're trying to scam you. They're trying to do some sort of PayPal refund. They're trying to log into your account and take over your account. They're trying to scam you in that way. So make sure that you only take their details, never give yours. So those are some of the payment scams that I've personally come across. And I don't want that to scare you. It's just about being wary of them. So if people speak in a specific way, if they're trying to ask you for personal information, just be wary of that and block them. Don't talk to them anymore. It's no loss if you just block them and stop the conversation, rather than trying to follow through and thinking that they're a real customer. Okay, so just block them, delete them, stop talking to them if any of these red flags ever come up. Another thing is people stealing your artwork. And again, I don't want this to deter you from actually putting your artwork online, because it's a wonderful thing to be able to share your artwork with the world and to put it online for people to see. Like, it's great. But there will be people out there that screenshot your artwork, try and sell it off as their own, take it from your website, all that kind of stuff. So here are some things that I've done to sort of stop that happening, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it completely stops it, okay? There's always that, there's always going to be someone that works their way around your, I guess, firewalls that you put up. So something that I like to do, that a lot of artists do, is watermarks. So add a watermark to your images, especially on Instagram or TikTok. If you're putting up pictures rather than videos, put a watermark on it. And this is also why I always like to have a watermark that's my website. So it's www.semamartin.com. One, so anybody looking at the picture will then hopefully go to my website to commission me. So it's not only like, you know, a marketing tactic, but it's protecting my artwork. So it's a slightly translucent writing, so it's not interfering with the actual image itself. I've seen other artists use like big black writing over it. You don't want anything actually interfering with your pictures. You're still trying to show potential clients what you can offer, what your pictures look like, what your product looks like, your commissions. So you don't want your watermark to actually interfere with the way it looks, but to look like a protection thing too. So it's hard to delete it, it's hard to get rid of it. I normally put it like literally straight across the middle. Normally that's where like the most intricate fur details are, so they can't necessarily easily Photoshop it off. I know currently there are some AI tools that can take off watermarks, and you know, that is sort of out of your control in that sense. So I'm sorry to say, but to at least prevent yourself in the whole, put watermarks on your pictures. I would also do that on your website. Another thing as well is to have pictures of you holding your artwork, so you can prove that the artwork is yours. And I know, again, people can Photoshop holding other people's artwork. I've seen it before. but it's just further proof that it's your artwork, you're the artist. So take pictures of you with your artwork, post pictures of you with your artwork. And not only is that protecting you from people trying to steal your artwork, but it's also showing that you're trustworthy to potential clients, because then you're not just a feed of pictures that any scammer can create. Because any scammer stealing your artwork and stealing others' artwork to create an Instagram to pretend to sell pet portrait commissions can't have them in it. But you can. So they can't have pictures of them holding the artwork because they've stolen the artwork from somebody else. But you can have pictures of you holding your artwork because it's your artwork. So that's a really good way of showing trust that this is a real artist, this is a real art page. So potential clients can trust you and not be deterred thinking it might be a scam account trying to take their money and not actually give them a portrait. So a few years ago, I did have someone screenshot a load of my stuff. I wasn't using a watermark at the time, silly me. They screenshotted a lot of my stuff. They put it on their profile. They did it with a lot of artists. They screenshotted stuff like any color pencil pet portrait artist. There was a lot of different styles on the page. It was so obvious that it was a scam account. But they were saying, oh, this is my artwork. I take this much, it's 50 quid, blah, blah, blah. I confronted her. Obviously, she blocked me, so I was no longer able to see the scam account or even report the scam account. So that I then used my personal Instagram account to report her to Instagram. And eventually it was taken down, which is great, because if you report pages enough times, if you get other people to report the page, if you show Instagram, look, this person's pretending to me, they've taken my artwork, this is my artwork, this is their account, normally every occasion they will take the account down. It just takes, like a few weeks for them to sort it out, but that will happen. So if that happens to you, report the account, put it in your stories, show other people what their profile picture looks like, what the images are that they look like, so people can look out for that person or that scammer and go and report it as well. So that's really helpful to have that community behind you to do that. And don't worry if this does happen. Like, it is obviously very annoying. It can be a bit heartbreaking, someone taking your artwork and trying to sell it as their own. But just retain control, report them, and keep going with yours. Don't let it deter you. Just remember the main things of having a watermark and having pictures of you on it so yours doesn't look like the spam account. Another thing that I've come across is when you're being scammed by Instagram or Facebook itself. Like, it's not actually Instagram and Facebook, but it's scammers getting you to log in to your Instagram or Facebook account, or you get DMs saying you have to log in, otherwise you're going to be deleted, that kind of thing. So again, these are scammers. If they might look very like Instagram and Facebook. So if you get an email, I've got this quite a lot. You get an email, it's got the Instagram logo, it says, your account's going to be deleted, you need to put in your password, blah, blah, blah. But look at the email where it's from. So look at the from, and obviously it would have to be from Instagram. Most of the time it's like Instagram at Gmail or Instagram at Hotmail or something like that. That is not real. That is a scammer. That is not the real Meta Instagram email address. Okay, so always check. If you get an email like this that's telling you to log in, okay, and it's giving you a link, never ever click the link. Never log in. Look at the from. If it looks wrong, if it's not from the actual company, if it's not from the Facebook, if it's not from TikTok, if it's not from the company it's saying that it is, that's a scam. Delete, block, that kind of thing. So I've had the same scam from Facebook. I almost fell for it, honestly. It was so legit looking. Even the email address looked very similar to Facebook's email address, but I didn't quite clock that it wasn't. And it told me to log in. It was going to delete my account. And I was like, oh no, like 10 years of work are on there. Well, it was 8 years at the time. 8 years of work is on there. Don't delete my account. And so I went to log in and realized as I was putting in my password, I was like, hold on a minute. Facebook's never asked me to do this before. Why are they suddenly trying to delete my account now? So thank goodness I immediately stopped what I was doing. I didn't follow through with logging in, and I deleted and blocked, and then I just went and changed all my passwords. So changing all your passwords as well is a very helpful thing to do. Make sure you change especially your social media accounts, your passwords, you change them every year kind of thing. I would also just like do, a computer mash style and then save the actual passwords on your computer somewhere, because then it's not about, that person's name or Facebook or whatever as a password. You don't have password Sema Facebook. That's not the password. Is like just a random computer mash thing that no one really can ever guess. I would also suggest when you open your Instagram account, you can change it later as well, which I've done as well. Don't have your Instagram login email, like sign up email, the login email, the same as your business email. So this has been another hack that I've found to stop scammers, to stop people hacking into my account. Because they think, so I tell everyone, contact me at hello@semamartin.com. That's not the email address that logs you into my Instagram. That's my contact email address. That's my email address for my contact, for people to contact me, for people to commission me, that kind of thing. But it's not a login email address. That's what I'm saying. So I've got a different, I'm not going to tell you obviously, I've got a different one that's just a random one that I've made up, another Google account that I don't really even use, but it's a made up account that I then use that email address as my Instagram login. So it's really important. Therefore, if anybody tries to hack my Instagram account, there's no way of knowing what my email login would be. This is nothing to do with my account itself. It's nothing to do with pet portraits. It's nothing to do with, my name or anything like that. So it would be very hard to figure out. So I would change your email addresses to just something completely random. Open a new Google account, create a random email address that no one needs to ever see. You don't need to tell anyone about this email address. It's just purpose for your login purposes only. And that's also going to stop hackers trying to get into your social medias. So I hope that you found this really helpful. I personally have found this helpful. If you want to know more about any scams, then you can click the link below to my blog post all about social media scams. And if you want to know more about selling your art, being a pet portrait artist, you can click the other link below that goes to the Business of Pet Portraits course. And if you have any questions or things that you want me to talk about, then please comment below. I would love to know more topics of how I can help you be a better artist, learn more about the business side of art, and see you tomorrow.